Hello there everyone, welcome back to another video where I'm going to talk about a children's trading card game. Today's children's trading card game is Cardfight Vanguard. So, if you've been paying attention, Vanguard overdress released in the West, proper, the set has released as of yesterday, as of the time of this recording. And it's been a while since I made a Vanguard video, and I've had a few people ask me why. I sort of just wanted to make this video to just get my sort of feelings out there, because I think overdress has done so much right, but it feels like almost every single step it took forward, it's taken a step backward too. You know, I'm gonna go into that in more detail, but some examples of the good things, so people don't think I'm just, you know, some sort of negative Nancy. No, I don't like. I will just criticize a game that's doing bad things, no matter what that game is. So, like good things, for example, the sponsorships Bushiroad's been doing. That's really good. You know, that's how you're going to grow your game. I also think they should have, while they were sponsoring those other creators, sponsored the main creators for the game that have been doing it for years. You know, Different Fight, Sol and Vanguard. Basically the two big ones. Would it have been so hard to just ship them a box and a couple trial decks and go give these away? No. I don't know why they didn't do that. It's a really small cost to the company for a lot of goodwill, so I think that was a mistake. So yeah, I do think that was a bit of a missed opportunity, but you know, obviously they have been sponsoring other people, so that's good. And you know, I think basically that's like one example, but there's a lot of good and there's a lot of bad. So I'm basically going to get into that now. But before I do, I want to do a couple things. One, if this is your first time here, subscribe to the channel. I talk about children's trading card games, and like the video if you enjoy me talking about this particular children's trading card game. I want to give a shout out to Sundial. Thank you very much for your Simian level support. And let's actually get started. So, overdress is fun. Overdress is really fun, but why haven't I made videos? Why haven't I done some analysis? Why haven't I done this beyond my initial set reviews? Basically, because it feels pretty pointless. If this is your first time here, you might not know, but basically I don't care about the premium formats. I don't care about premium, and I don't care about V premium. They're not what I'm interested in. Maybe I'll care about V premium once Raging Form comes out, because, you know, I played that back when I used to play Vanguard originally. But like, it's not really something I'm interested in. I was really here for overdress, and a big reason why I was here for overdress was because of the ride deck, which I think is fantastic. And I think, you know, in terms of consistency, like, the game is so much better than it's been before in terms of your deck doing the thing, right? Like, now I sit down and my deck gets to do the thing that I want my deck to do. This was sort of semi a thing back in G, because they introduced strides, so then to an extent it didn't really matter what grade 3 you rode, because your strides were like your main thing, right? So you had a lot of consistency there. Now you have the ride deck, your deck's always doing the thing it needs to do. That's great. I think that is by far the best change overdress has brought, and it's done a lot. In the same breath, we have the issue of overtriggers, and I've got a lot of issues with overtriggers. Let's start off with the big one. I genuinely feel no desire to play this game because of overtriggers. And I was really, really enjoying it before we got them, right? Like, before we got the full Monty versions, and I was just playing with the starter deck overtriggers, which were not that big a deal. Like, they were, you know, they were pretty bad, but they were not that big a deal. They had, like, the same, like, seeing one of those was a similar swing to, like, getting a double trigger check. Like, it wasn't that bad. But, you know, and I was still playing, I was having fun. But with the normal overtriggers, I'm having zero fun. Like, genuinely zero fun. Because, and Proof has done 1,000 games or something. So these stats are from there. They might not be 100% accurate, but 1,000 games is, I think, a pretty respectable sample size for this particular thing. Overtriggers. You will be getting an overtrigger that will so you the player will either drive an overtrigger or get an overtrigger in damage 1/3 of the time. It was exactly 33.3%, which is, maybe there's some cool maths there that is why it shakes out to a third. Maybe it's a coincidence. Anyway, 1/3 of games you will get the overtrigger, which, you know, conversely means that 1/3 of games your opponent will get the overtrigger. So if we choose to just ignore the chances, like when you both get them, if we're just gonna, you know, look at it like that, the expected number of games that your opponent is just going to win and there's nothing you can do about it is 1 in 3, right? So 1 in 3 games, you have no agency whatsoever over your opponent winning. And equally, 1 in 3 games, you have no agency over you winning because it's just going to be an overtrigger check and you're going to win. The win rate swing, when you see it, is genuinely like double-digit percentages. Like, it's very hard to lose in the games you see an overtrigger, and typically the games that where like you did lose, it was like if you got like a Stoicaire overtrigger on your grade 1, like when it just didn't matter, right? Whereas, you know, and that's rare. The majority of the time, it's going to be very impactful. So that has really sucked. It's very difficult to motivate yourself to want to play a game when, like, half the time, basically, it doesn't matter, like, what I do. Like, my decision-making is really irrelevant because it's just going to come down to, did I get the overtrigger or not? Did I draw my overtrigger, or am I going to check it? And that's a really shit feeling. So that's completely demotivated me from even wanting to play the game right now. And I've said this to some people who I've spoken to, but I've set myself like a limit of I'm going to give a shit about this game until set 3/set 4. So I'm basically giving them like a year from when it was announced. And I think that's very fair. I think a lot of players that I know, a lot of returning players, have seen the impact overtriggers have had, and have basically gone, I'm genuinely sorry about any background noise, by the way, if you can hear it. And I think a year is more than a lot of other players have given this. I know a lot of top Vanguard players who they're still, you know, playing the game, but as far as they're concerned, like, it's kind of dead to them already. Like, there's because it's complete. The overtriggers have completely ruined like any format they're a part of. Now the hope is that sooner rather than later we'll be able to mitigate for the existence of these things, and they won't be as ridiculous. You know, like, it's crazy to say that I will take randomly losing 5 to 10% of my games to these, because that's so much better than randomly losing 1 in 3. You know, a stat that I think will really hit home, and I do apologise if I've banged on about overtriggers for so long here, I will move on to some other things. But a big reason, like, here's a stat for you, okay? The average Vanguard Regionals has 9 rounds, 8 to 9 rounds. That means your expected value for your number of wins is x3. You, even if you are 100 million times better than every other player in the room, if every other player in the room is just garbage, you are still expecting to just lose 3 games to go x3 just to overtrigger variance, which means you're not topping. So it's a luck shit show. Like, anyone who gets lucky tops, anyone who doesn't get lucky doesn't top. There's no skill. As a competitive player, that doesn't appeal to me. As a casual player, all my mates have just gone, yeah, we're not fucking playing the overtriggers. We're just going to play normal Vanguard, and oh wow, surprise, surprise, overdress without the overtriggers is actually really fun. So I don't really know what the fuck they were thinking, having this really fun, like, genuinely good game with, like, solid game design fundamentals, and then just going, let's chuck in this random thing that has fucked the entire thing up. Like, if you don't believe me, sit down with your mates, take your overtriggers out of your deck, just play the game without them, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's so much more fun, it's ridiculous. Anyway, the last thing on overtriggers is this thing I want to mention here, because this has genuinely pissed me off. So, there was a few errata issues. I memed on it, it is what it is. Bushy Road EN continues to make really weird mistakes. Like, some of the erratas genuinely didn't matter. Like, there was the wrong grade icon, and that was fine, cool. That's an acceptable errata. No one's gonna, you know. But they printed the Persona Ride icon on a grade 1, and this has genuinely annoyed me. Okay, so they misprinted the Stoicaire overtrigger to not include same number, but they left on this part that says all of your front row units get power plus 10,000. Like, they claimed when it came out that this was their exciting way of saying, oh, but you know, it is only till the end of the turn, even though it explicitly does not say that. So you know what, Bushy Road? Fuck you. I'm playing this as if it doesn't say until the end of the turn, because until you can give me a good reason why it's just straight up not including that clause there, I don't see a reason to play it as if it is there. This is stupid. Just add in the errata here. I don't know why you're not doing it. Like, anyway. So, as I said, overdress is really, really fun when you remove the overtriggers. So, you know, the good, basically everything is good, but then you add in the overtrigger and everything is bad. So, there's that. Then there's the upcoming releases, which I'm mixed on. So, we got a bunch of announcements. Token Ranbu just came out. I think the trial decks, and then today, the main set came out. Token Ranbu's cool, but I think we're probably going to get this one in English. I think that's the most likely one. And we got a few other announcements. So there's Monster Striker, there's Shaman King. I'm genuinely excited for Shaman King. I hope we get that. That's a big reason why I'm giving overdress that long. And also, Token Ranbu had the order over trigger, which was another really cool thing. Like, really cool, like actually something new. It's something they could have done a while ago, but, it's, as far as Vanguard is concerned, that is innovative, and I'm here for that, new things. So, in that sense, like, I believe the design team, like, there's so many cool things they've done where it's like, I believe the design team, like, genuinely does want to do cool things. I just feel like they're sandbagged with some of these weird choices. In the same breath that Monster Striker got the Gacha Box, which I thought was a super cool mechanic to, like, be able to toolbox out of, they also got this, which just reads Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, neg your opponent 3. How is that fair? Or this, ignoring the delete effect. Or there's this, which is just Bastion, but like easier to get off because I need to emphasize, like, I know it says Persona Ride, but this is a deck where they can toolbox their entire. Like, they can just toolbox for them by running other grade 3s, and they're probably going to get some sort of Persona Ride Searcher as well. That seems very likely. Granted, this is, worse than Bastion, because, you don't have to deck build for it, but you are hard locked to turn 4, so, anyway. But, this feels kind of power creepy. But and that didn't feel great. And then we got the set 2 news that just really annoyed me. Fucking these encounter cards. Listen, I get that they were trying to do something cool, and I appreciate that Mori, he sat down and he addressed the community concerns, and he explained their reasoning. And whilst I think their reasoning is kind of bollocks, I do not think they had to do these ones specifically. I think I appreciate the fact that he sat down and he engaged with the community, and for that thing overdress has done really well. Mori has done more good for the Vanguard community in his 3 months that he's been in charge than the 10 years of the previous producer. I don't know what the fuck was wrong with that guy. He sucked. Mori is genuinely quite good. So, credit where credit's due. I genuinely appreciate this guy. He's another big reason why I'm, hanging around. But like he said on the stream, because in the past, basically, because Bushiroad were too lazy to specify like when in the future strides were, that option is actually open to them, which was actually really cool. I didn't think about that, but that means, we're probably going to see these actual things from the past where we saw them in stride in the future. We're going to see them as actual units. How fucking cool is that? But it's sort of like, okay, that's genuinely cool. I'm here for that. So why did you have to choose Dragonic Overlord and Phantom Blaster Overlord? Like, why did you choose those? Like, could you not have done, like in the lore, they did Old Man Dragonic Overlord. And I think people probably would have been okay if they had done something like Dragonic Overlord the Blaster. And it was just Blaster Blade support, right? But it was that cool lore crossover. It didn't work with any of the previous stuff, but it was just like, hey, this is a cool lore thing. People probably would have been a lot more receptive to that than it's just the 91st fucking Dragonic Overlord in the game and the 15th fucking Phantom Blaster Overlord, and everyone's just there going like, okay, cool. So now, like, in premium formats where PBO already had this thing where you can just superior ride it to turn 2, you're going to be Persona riding immediately. Anyway, so yeah, like there's issues there as well with the good. It's just I think I tweeted about this. Essentially, I'm just frustrated because with everything they do that's positive, there's also something that's negative, and all the negatives are just avoidable, right? Like this encounter thing, really fucking cool, sure. Did you have to do it now? Could you have just waited a bit? Could you have done different units now and like next year done these? Like, like a little reorganization would have gone a long way there, and this is a relatively minor thing, but like I'm concerned about this power creep, but like, you know, to an extent, are we even going to get it? Is that going to have impacts on game design and game balance in the future? I don't know. I'm concerned about that, but you know, that's again a relatively minor thing. These fucking over triggers, like, was this really fucking necessary? You do everything right besides these. It's just like, it's really frustrating. Basically, the point I'm making here is I'm just frustrated. I'm just really frustrated, and I'm hanging around because at this point I bought the Story K and the Brandgate splits, so I'm here. The new Zorga cards are cool. They're really good. They are definitely going to be a buff for the deck. So I'm just chilling here. I'm like, look, I'll hang around. Realistically, I'm not going to be playing this game competitively till set 3 anyway, because set 2 comes out in July, same as Gate Ruler's second set, so, you know, I'll just be wailing on those. But it'll be silent. There's not going to be major events. There'll probably be Gate Ruler stuff, but, you know, there's not going to be any Vanguard stuff. So I'm just going to be, like, chilling. It is what it is. It's whatever. I'm not that fussed. Set 3 is when, like, for me, it really has to, and for Gate Ruler as well, like, set 3, when they really need to get their acts together, 100% have everything competitive, like, ready to go, for me. Otherwise, I'm going to be, like, very annoyed with them and lose interest. So, I'm optimistic on both those. You know, I'm cautiously optimistic on Vanguard. I think, like, I'm hoping that by set 3, they will have addressed a lot of the concerns when we come for BCS, because, like, again, I know a lot of people were saying, like, just ban overtriggers for competitive formats. I agree. I think that would solve the problem. Absolutely. Like, fine. Let them be a thing. Let them exist. I don't give a fuck. But if they're banned for major events, then who cares, right? I think for BCS, it's going to be very telling how they choose to organize that. And we will see. I just wanted to air my grievances, basically. Go, like, I'm really frustrated because there's so much good here. There's so much good. But they just sandbag themselves with these weird decisions and these bad decisions. And it's just annoying. You know, I introduced a mate to Vanguard the other day. And I had to have the caveat that, like, look, this game is fun, but these overtrigger things aren't great. And they were like, what do you mean? So a game was played, the point was made, and he was like, yeah, I'm not really interested in this if I'm just going to lose randomly. And I'm like, that's fair enough. I'll let you know if that problem gets solved. And then maybe he'll play. But, you know what I mean? Like, it's these sort of things where it's like, you know, you're sponsoring these players to grow the game, but then you're introducing a mechanic that just actively turns players away as soon as their foot's through the door. Anyway, that's that. I hope you guys found this interesting. I just wanted to vent, honestly. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.